So after 16 years, 3 gold medals, and countless other accolades, it was a pretty emotional end for snowboarder Shaun White after making the final Olympic run of his career.
Gosh, it's hard to describe. I mean, there were so many thoughts going through my head, and you know, it's a mixture of wow, this is sad, I won't be doing this anymore, but then again, a relief of wow, I've come this far and I deserve, you know, the rest and the you know, the anxiety and the fear and all these things you have to deal with and cope with during, you know, a competition season. And especially with snowboarding, we're flying 20 feet out of a 20-foot half pipe, and it's like, you know, there's consequences, and you're riding this fine line of that danger. And you know, I remember sliding into the bottom and just this rush of relief, and then seeing all my competitors kind of lined up, you know, with some really kind words to say to me, and I just like broke down. I couldn't handle it, and the crowd was cheering. I mean, such an amazing support from all the Chinese you know, fans and volunteers and just people that have come out to, or were allowed to come and watch. I mean, it was incredible.
Oh, joining me right now is retired U.S. Olympic speed skater and winner of 8 Olympic golds, Apolo Anton Ohno. Apolo, so good to see you.
It's wonderful to see you.
Fantastic. So you've said goodbye to the games after your very lengthy career, and now we've heard, you know, Shaun White kind of reflect on what was going through his mind. If you were watching, you know, in his last run that evening, I was watching it, and I just saw, you know, the tears welling up in his eyes. You know, he's waiting for the score, even though he hadn't, you know, completed that run like he had wanted, and people were high-fiving him. We heard him now reflecting on what he was thinking. But at the time of that last run, what were you imagining he was going through?
Look, I think Shaun is a competitor. He's shown over a very long duration, both his consistency, but also his love for the sport and his love for the Olympic path. So when you watch these athletes in their final kind of bow, in the thing that gave them all the signals of affirmation that this is your purpose, this is why you're here. It's a beautiful sight, and it's also sad, right? So what happens now is this kind of quasi great divorce where he's going to be transitioning from one chapter in his life into the next, and that reinvention stage is going to be exciting. I think Shaun has a tremendous amount of opportunities, but not just Shaun, all of these Olympic athletes. Some are deciding either by choice or by force to say, what's next? And that great divorce is very visceral and real as they come back home after the closing ceremonies.
You made that transition. I mean, you would be a motivational speaker, author. I mean, you've involved yourself in a lot of, you know, entrepreneurial efforts. So what is that transition you think going to be like for him? I'm sure a lot of people are coming to him with ideas as well, but I guess in the end, you really have to go with what your heart says, or how comfortable you are, how exhausted mentally and physically you might be at the time too.
I mean, look, I think Shaun's going to have a tremendous amount of opportunity post his career here. He's already shown his interest in seeing how he can elevate his brand and also grow the sport of snowboarding and halfpipe. He's done an incredible job, and really a testament to kind of his foresight to understanding that this will all come to an end in terms of him standing on top of the podium. I think for a lot of these athletes, it's a deeper psychological conversation that they have with themselves. What are they good at? What is really the most aligned with their true north and purpose? And how can they contribute? And so many of these athletes have put school off for a long time, and maybe they're entering into their late 20s, early 30s, where they're having to start brand new. They've got all of these incredible attributes that have been life lessoned, yearned and earned throughout the path of the Olympics, and now applying them towards the next chapter of their life is going to be a challenge, and also one that they should be able to embrace. And so, as all of us have for the past 24 months, needed and required, it's been a critical part of us embracing change, regardless of kind of these chaotic environments that I think we live in. That's really, really important as we try to show up fully on a daily basis.
Others who might be thinking soon about that transition too. I mean, we have seen now during this Olympics, particularly in some of the American athletes, we've seen seniors, you know, who dominate. I mean, Shaun White, 35, Lindsay Jacobellis, 36, and her snowboard cross partner Nick Baumgardner at 40. And both of them just clinched gold last night. So in their stories, just like, you know, your story, I mean, you all are architects of your sports. And the sports have reached heights that no one has ever seen before because of the sacrifice of these athletes that we're talking about. So what are your thoughts when you see kind of these old cats, competing against these whippersnappers who are the beneficiaries of a sport that they helped transform?
Well, I can relate. I
Yeah.
can relate to all of that. When I made my first Olympic team in 2002, and then when I made my final Olympic team nearly almost 10 years later in 2010, there were team members on my team who started speed skating because they had watched my first ever Olympic Games. So I know what that feeling is like. The cool part about this is the technology that has transformed sport is now accessible to so many. And so much later in your career, you can do so much more with far less. You understand overtraining, you understand recovery. Obviously, the mind is still the greatest asset that we have. And learning how to really kind of compound these things in the smallest of increments over time give this incredible ability over the long run to really be your absolute best. And so I think we're going to see a trend of older athletes, typically older, performing at the highest of levels. We saw Tom Brady and what he's been able to do as an incredible example. So this is going to be the trend moving forward. I think athletes' careers are going to become extended, which is great, which hopefully will give them more time to prepare for when they actually have to hang up those skates, so to speak, and figure out how to contribute to our communities and society at large.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, so from those high points to now, a real low point. Let's talk about the 15-year-old Russian skater, Kamila Valieva. The Court of Arbitration now for sports will have a hearing tomorrow after she tested positive for a heart drug back in December that might assist in her stamina. So what is the message now being sent if she is allowed to continue to compete in Beijing, even if she was surreptitiously given, this drug?
So I don't know the details around, the amounts. What type are these trace amounts? Is this something that was much more intentional? It's very hard. The World Anti-Doping Association and USADA and all these governing bodies, it's their job to provide the most equal and level playing field. At 15 years old, her performance was incredible, and to have that tainted in some capacity is tough, right? Especially in a beautiful sport like figure skating. And hopefully we can figure out the best way moving forward. But again, rules are there. We need to provide guardrails, and athletes, regardless of where they're training and competing, regardless of those cultural environments, need to make sure that they're kind of having that same type of mentality and same system. That's the only way the Olympics can kind of maintain this. And by the way, we look at the Olympics as the one source of being the place where we can actually corral around and have unification, and it is a fundamental playing ground. So it's really important that we stay on top of these things to make sure it is fair, it is clean, and these athletes are giving their best every single time we see them.
Right, the greatest peacetime event, epitomizing all the abilities and strengths of human beings. Apolo, Anton Ohno, always good to see you. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping us go down the path of what it is to transition, be an Olympian, and beyond. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.